LARPing is going into the woods, having some fun, getting away from a bit of reality for the weekend. One side, monsters, they have the plot, and the other side generally tries to survive. Being able to just go out, forget about everything else, have some fun and see people I don't see very often, and people you just don't normally see, or you would normally never mix with, you suddenly see, and just get on with them, have a laugh.
It's like a cross between Dungeons and Dragons and amateur dramatics and just that game we used to play as children where you dress up and run around, only now it's cool because you've got swords rather than wrapping paper tubes. It's just really fun. It's nice to be able to dress up, feel cool. The fighting's amazing. At Empire, another system, they have big battles with loads of people, and running at the opposite side with big sword is fun.
Shatter! Shatter!
My day job is I'm an operations manager at a leisure centre, so I've got about 30 people that I manage. LARPing is basically, well, it's a combination of acting and then actual sort of being involved in the story, but instead of, like a computer game where you might fight an enemy and click lots of buttons to do it, instead you actually have to physically hit them with a sword and that sort of thing. So it's one of those ones where it's a lot of fun because there's a lot more that can happen, unlike in a computer game where you're kind of stuck with what it's presenting to you. Here, you can literally do anything. Because it is you. So. It bonds you together in the forging fires of the fact that there's a group of guys walking towards you with guns and swords and they're trying to kill you. And that really bonds people together quite quickly because you're like, shit, we're going to get killed. So it's great when that happens, and then you get two lines of community. You either get one where people start to become greedy because there's all the power available in the system, like items, gold on the floor. People start getting like, it's mine, and you start getting divisions of people. Or you get the opposite, which is where people start finding the gold and they start sharing it amongst each other, which is the best kind of groups because they're the kind of groups that you end up then surviving because one person isn't just sitting in the corner going, I have all the items. It's like, yeah, but one of those items could have saved us all, but you were too greedy to take it. So it's one of those ones where it's really good when it does bond people together, but you occasionally have to combat a few pieces of greed. So
Kyle! Knockdown!
I love it because it allows me to be myself, but unleashed. I mean, everyone gets something different out of the game. I personally love the combat, and I also love just doing something I couldn't do in my normal job. Like, for example, in my normal job, let's say I had, some of my colleagues were doing things they shouldn't be doing, or, for example, I was in front of a bunch of customers. I can't say a lot of the stuff that I want to say, even though it's one of those ones where it's like, of course, that's my job. Here, I can be as unleashed as I like. I can say whatever I like.
There's not enough whores around here for me, which is very disappointing. I only had to find one last night, and I was like, where's your sister? Where's your mum? They're like, no, sorry, just me. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. So I only paid her half, and then I didn't pay her at all, and then I kicked her out of bed, and then I ran. So,
it's not a consequence-free environment because there's consequences in the game. But ultimately, when the game ends and I get to go home, it's not going to be like, oh, good God, now I've got the cops after me or something like that.
Mainly guards, they're amazing. Like they stand there shouting, "You're under arrest," and you're like, "Thank you for standing still." Pop that on.
All right. I'm a really big fan of things like Lord of the Rings and like Harry Potter, just fantasy stuff, and here I actually get to do it, It's very dorky and a bit silly, but it's something to do on the weekend, I actually suffer from terrible social anxiety. Sometimes I'm so bad with my anxiety, I'm barely able to leave my flat, and then I come here with a whole group of strangers and I'm alright. I force myself to come to something like this to kind of, deal with it because I'm not me, I'm this other character, and it really helps me. I recommend it.
It's one of those scenarios where you literally can do and be whatever you want to be, whether you want to be the hero, or do you want to be the intelligent person, or do you want to be the strong warrior, sort of thing. So it allows you to be whatever you want to be.